The scale's secret: when unexplained weight loss spells danger for seniors. The journey into understanding your body's subtle language begins with a sign that, paradoxically, many seniors might initially welcome with a smile. Consider David, a 74-year-old retired postman. He noticed his trousers felt a bit looser, and the numbers on the scale confirmed it. 10 pounds had vanished over 3 months, all without him changing his diet or starting a new workout routine. A gift, he mused, pleased with this effortless change. However, for seniors, this kind of unexplained weight loss can be a serious warning. When your weight drops significantly without a clear reason, no new diet, no increased exercise, it's rarely a fluke. More often, it's an indication that your body is under stress, quietly burning through energy reserves to combat an issue you might not even feel yet. This unintentional slimming can be linked to several underlying conditions, such as thyroid dysfunction, hidden digestive disorders, or even the early stages of cancer. One of the most deceptive aspects of this symptom is that it doesn't necessarily make you feel bad at first. You might feel lighter, and your clothes may fit better. Friends might even offer compliments. But this is precisely the trap. While the reflection in the mirror or the number on the scale brings a moment of satisfaction, your body could be in a silent battle, potentially burning through muscle, compromising your immune function, or reacting to a significant metabolic imbalance. David's initial pleasure soon gave way to a creeping fatigue. Then, a persistent cough began to trouble him. The unease grew, overshadowing his earlier contentment. By the time he finally visited his doctor, the diagnosis was a treatable form of lung cancer. His poignant realization was, my body had been talking, but I almost wasn't listening. Psychologically, this is where denial becomes dangerous. We often associate weight loss with success or improved health, but for older adults, losing weight without cause isn't a reward. It's a compelling reason to ask critical questions. It's crucial not to assume it's harmless. Any unexplained weight loss, especially if it's more than 5% of your body weight over a 6 to 12-month period, deserves immediate medical attention. Your body doesn't expend energy so drastically for no reason. David now views his bathroom scale with a newfound respect, not as a judge, but as a quiet communicator, a reminder of the body's often subtle language. While David's body whispered its urgent message through disappearing pounds, others might receive an entirely different, yet equally stealthy signal, one that insidiously drains the very will to move. Beyond tired, the crushing fatigue that's more than just getting older. While David's body whispered its urgent message through disappearing pounds, others might receive an entirely different, yet equally stealthy signal, one that insidiously drains the very will to move. This isn't the ordinary tiredness that a good night's sleep can cure. This is persistent fatigue, a profound exhaustion that settles deep within the bones of many seniors, and it's one of the most commonly overlooked medical red flags. Consider Judy, 68. A woman whose vibrant energy once found its full expression in her rose garden. It was her stage, and she danced among her blooms. Then, one spring, though the flowers began to unfurl, her own vitality did not. Simple chores became monumental efforts. Just getting old, she'd sigh, as her beloved dog's leash started to gather dust by the door, walks becoming a thing of the past. This kind of deep-seated fatigue, the type that makes brushing your hair or cooking breakfast feel like lifting bricks, is far removed from normal aging. It can be a quiet herald of serious underlying conditions such as anemia, undiagnosed heart disease, diabetes, lingering depression, or even a chronic infection quietly brewing. Judy's energy seemed to vanish like a thief in the night, leaving her doctors to hunt for clues in the lengthening shadows of her exhaustion. What invisible drain was truly sapping her vitality? As months passed, her world progressively shrank. She skipped her cherished walks, the weeds in her garden grew unchecked, and she increasingly blamed the relentless march of time for her waning strength. The tension in her life mounted with each joy she relinquished. Then, the climax arrived one ordinary afternoon when she collapsed in her kitchen. The diagnosis was stark: congestive heart failure. It was a sobering moment when Judy reflected, "The fatigue was my only real warning, a quiet roar I dismissed as a whisper of time." Such profound tiredness also exacts a heavy emotional toll. It often leads to withdrawal and a growing sense of isolation as social invitations are declined and connections fade. The spirit and body are intrinsically linked. When one begins to fade, the other often follows. Judy's once vibrant garden nearly became a forgotten memory, a casualty of an exhausted heart. But sometimes the body doesn't just feel overwhelmingly heavy. It can start to mysteriously shrink away again, even when you believe you're eating enough. The vanishing act, sudden weight loss that demands your attention. Judy's once vibrant garden nearly became a forgotten memory, a casualty of an exhausted heart. But sometimes the body doesn't just feel overwhelmingly heavy. It can start to mysteriously shrink away again, even when you believe you're eating enough. This brings us to another critical signal concerning weight. Sudden weight loss that you didn't plan, didn't particularly want, and perhaps didn't even notice until someone else pointed it out. Take Harold, 74 years old and still remarkably sharp and active. He began to notice his belt needed a new hole, and then, not long after, another. Just the years catching up. He chuckled to himself, entirely unaware that his body was performing a silent, insidious vanishing act. This isn't like the gradual, unexplained weight loss discussed earlier. This is the kind that can sneak up quickly. For seniors, if you've lost more than 5% of your body weight in just a few months without actively dieting or significantly increasing your physical activity, it's a major red flag demanding immediate attention. Your body doesn't just shed pounds for no reason. It's often responding to something significant, perhaps a hidden infection, thyroid issues, diabetes, or even early cancer. Crucially, it can also be a sign that your body isn't absorbing nutrients the way it should due to malabsorption disorders. These conditions, where the digestive system struggles to take in essential vitamins and minerals, become more common with age and frequently fly under the radar. You might feel generally fine, perhaps a little less hungry or a bit more tired than usual, but internally, your body could be starving for the fundamental building blocks it needs to maintain strength and function, leading to a dangerous state of nutrient deficiency. Harold continued his active life, the tightening belt the only subtle clue to an underlying problem. The tension lay in this deceptive sense of well-being. He felt fine, yet he was unknowingly starving from within. It wasn't until a routine checkup that the truth surfaced. Doctors discovered a gastrointestinal tumor that had been quietly interfering with his nutrient absorption for over a year. The shock was profound for Harold. "I was wasting away in plain sight," he later reflected. "And I nearly missed it." This kind of sudden weight loss carries significant physical risks, often leading to muscle loss, pervasive weakness, and increased frailty. This downward spiral sharply increases the likelihood of falls, hospitalizations, and an overall decline in health. Harold's shrinking frame was a quiet alarm, a testament to how insidiously malabsorption can take hold. But what if the warning isn't about what you physically lose, but rather a strange, new feeling in your chest? A sensation you're all too tempted to dismiss as nothing. Heart subtle SOS, decoding chest discomfort that isn't always drama. Harold's shrinking frame was a quiet alarm, a testament to how insidiously malabsorption can take hold. But what if the warning isn't about what you physically lose, but rather a strange, new feeling in your chest? A sensation you're all too tempted to dismiss as nothing. Many seniors do just that, because heart-related chest discomfort doesn't always arrive with the dramatic, clutching the chest intensity often portrayed in movies. Consider Margaret, a vibrant 68-year-old who kept active with weekly yoga sessions and a passion for gardening. One afternoon, while pulling weeds, she felt a faint tightness in her chest. Just a muscle strain from the exertion, she decided, brushing aside what was, in reality, her body's gentle tap on her shoulder. The truth is, dangerous chest discomfort can manifest in far more subtle forms. A faint pressure that comes and goes, an unusual tightness when walking to the mailbox, a weird burning sensation easily mistaken for indigestion, or even a little ache in the jaw or shoulder that just feels distinctly odd. Here's a critical point often missed. Heart-related symptoms in older adults, and particularly in women over 65, frequently present in these disguised, atypical ways. A serious heart issue might not announce itself with full-blown pain but rather as persistent fatigue, unexplained nausea, or shortness of breath. This is why so many heart attacks in seniors go tragically unnoticed or are discovered only when it's far too late. Margaret felt a ghost of a pain, there and then gone, a whisper in her chest. Was it merely a strained muscle, or a coded message from her heart? A language she didn't yet understand? Despite her active life, Margaret kept noticing this intermittent tightness. She consistently dismissed it, but her daughter's concern grew with each mention. This growing unease from her daughter eventually built enough tension to prompt action. It wasn't until her daughter insisted she get a checkup that the underlying cause was found. Margaret had a significant blockage in her coronary arteries. Her poignant realization was, "My heart had been whispering for months. I just didn't know its language." Psychologically, we often avoid acknowledging symptoms like these because they feel inherently scary. Denial can become a powerful, albeit dangerous, coping mechanism. It's probably nothing becomes a comfortable, repeated story. But every time we ignore the body's signals, we widen the dangerous gap between a preventable event and a full-blown medical emergency. The key takeaway is not just to look for overt pain, but to recognize patterns of discomfort during mild activity, recurring pressure, or any unexplained strange sensations in your upper body. These are your cues. Your heart might be speaking softly, but it needs you to listen. Margaret learned to listen to her heart's quiet pleas. But what if the body's signals aren't felt as pain or pressure at all, but are instead seen on the very surface of your skin? A canvas displaying inner turmoil. Skin deep warnings. When slow healing and bruises signal trouble within. Margaret learned to listen to her heart's quiet pleas. But what if the body's signals aren't felt as pain or pressure at all, but are instead seen on the very surface of your skin? A canvas displaying inner turmoil. Sometimes your body communicates its distress not with an ache or dizziness, but with something you observe in the mirror or on your limbs. Consider Donald, 73 years old. A small scrape on his arm, acquired during routine yard work, simply wouldn't fade. Weeks later, it remained a stubborn, discolored purple reminder of a minor incident. Skin's not what it used to be, he mused to himself, unaware that this persistent mark was a dispatch from deep inside his body. Slow healing wounds, or bruises that appear seemingly out of nowhere or linger much longer than they should, are more than just everyday annoyances for seniors. They can be significant red flags. When wounds heal sluggishly, it may indicate that your circulation is compromised, particularly in your extremities like legs, feet, or hands. Your blood might not be delivering vital nutrients to the injury site efficiently, or perhaps your immune system is lagging and not mounting an effective repair response. In some instances, these skin-related issues can point to undiagnosed diabetes, which famously impairs healing. In other cases, they might hint at underlying vascular disease or even declining organ function, such as issues with kidney health. Either way, it means your body is struggling to perform a task it once handled with relative ease. Donald noticed that not only did his scrapes linger, but his skin would also bleed easily from minor nicks, and the resulting spots stayed purple for weeks. The persistence of these superficial yet unsettling signs created a subtle tension. It wasn't until a neighbor made a casual comment about something similar that Donald was prompted to seek a medical opinion. A visit to his doctor and subsequent tests revealed the climax of his skin's subtle warnings. His kidneys were weakening, a condition that was affecting how his blood was clotting and how his body filtered toxins. The bruises weren't random, as Donald came to understand. They were signals from his struggling kidneys. For many older adults, it's tempting to dismiss these skin changes, the slow healing, the easy bruising, as just another inevitable part of getting older. But it's vital to question why. Why is this cut taking so long to heal? Why does my skin mark up so easily now? Why am I seeing bruises where I don't recall any impact? Your skin is your body's largest organ, and it often provides some of the earliest visual cues of trouble brewing internally. If your outer layer is slow to recover, chances are your inner systems might be struggling too. That's the moment to speak with your doctor, not after months of watching and wondering. Donald's skin told a story of his kidneys. These 5 individuals, David, Judy, Harold, Margaret, and Donald, each received a unique, quiet call from their bodies. The crucial question that remains is, What will you do when your body speaks to you? The wisdom of listening. Taking control of your health journey. Donald Skin told a story of his kidneys. These 5 individuals, David, Judy, Harold, Margaret, and Donald, each received a unique, quiet call from their bodies. The crucial question that remains is, what will you do when your body speaks to you? As their experiences illustrate, it's often the quiet occurrences, not the dramatic, clamorous events that initially signal something is amiss within. It might be a lingering fatigue that sleep doesn't resolve, a creeping numbness in a limb, or those subtle, almost imperceptible changes in your skin, appetite, or weight that seem insignificant at first but accumulate meaning over time. These are not mere quirks of aging that should be casually brushed aside. They are often vital whispers from your body, urgently asking you to pay attention. The most important takeaway from these stories isn't to cultivate fear, but to foster a profound sense of awareness. Wise older adults don't panic at every minor change, but crucially, they also don't dismiss them. They learn to pause, to reflect, and to act when something consistently feels off. Your body has been your lifelong companion. It possesses an innate wisdom, honed over decades, on how to alert you when it needs genuine help. Reinforce the understanding that catching these signs early, through proactive health monitoring, provides the very best chance to stay stronger and live longer. Don't wait for the alarm bells to ring loud and clear, potentially when a condition has become more serious. Instead, make it a practice to notice the small things. Trust your intuition. If a persistent change doesn't feel right, it probably warrants a doctor consultation. Speak up to your healthcare provider, even if the symptom feels minor or vague. One conversation, one early detection, can genuinely change everything. Your health is, after all, your story. Be an active and empowered author in how it unfolds.